unlearning process and learning process for all of us to know about this the concept love. So I welcome everyone to discuss this topic, to speak frankly, bravely, and with human nature, freedom, tendency, and experience to discuss about this love. So here, Periyar gives the detail why he is writing this essay because he want to convey that the concept or the word kadal in Tamil have no special element but which is imposed on us with a lot of decorated ideas, which literally dims the purpose of man and women living together, and the love it is nothing but than the uh, emotion that affection, desire, and friendship. The world uh, has attributed an extraordinary quality to the word love, ingrained it into the minds of people, and unnecessarily dimmed the purpose of men and women living together. Consequently, for the sake of love, people lead a troubled life, lacking pleasure and satisfaction. And also, he gives a list of questions. If we analyze these questions, we can able to understand the concept love. And these are the questions like what is love, what is its power, how does it arise, how long does it remain, under what circumstances does it arise, when does it disappear, what is the reason for such disappearance. Therefore, finally, we can able to analyze that love like substance, reality, and certainness. Person who blows it out of proportion is foolish by nature. We will analyze it in later with examples which he given in his essay. So, excuse me. In his essay in 1931 itself, he describes this that today people who talks about love says they give a list of definition for love. So these are the definition. Still, it is prevalence in our period also. It was nearly a century that he discussed about love, and today we are looking at it. So these are the definitions. Love is not affection, desire, or passion. Affection, kindness, desire, passion, infatuation, or different. Love is different. It arises from a special purpose between a man and a woman and can't be described directly. It arises naturally between two people. There is no not, there is nothing in this world equivalent to such love. It can exclusively exist for a man towards one woman or women to a man, vice versa like that. If such a love arises between two people, it would never change at any point of time for any reason. If love happens with a person, then desire or passion or infatuation will not arise in the care of any other person. So these are the typical examples or typical definitions even we learned from uh, from the society or from the media or from whatever text which defines love. But it is surprising that it hasn't changed to a point from 1931 to till now in reality. And he discusses about the reality and he looks at the reality how the couples or how a two person who lives as a family with this particular love, they are just living in that situation for three reasons. He gives that it's for childbearing, assistance in the household, and natural desires. For these three reasons only, even if we look at the couples who living together were been in that relationship, and he says that it is rare to see them coupled because of their excessive love or joined together by god of love. So therefore they made the rule like husband should live with one wife and vice versa, irrespective of its advantages. He say people who claims that love is not unchangeable, or the previous definition we seen for the love should be lack of experience and worldly wisdom. They do not know about human nature or truth, or perhaps they know the truth but they are concealing it for a specific reason. um, if we take this quote, that they are giving that definitions for some specific person. If we interpret it with uh, any identity any identity things, we can able to understand that it may be for the sustainability of the family structure, it may be for the religious, or for a community, or whatever that thing they do interpret with a man and women relationship. So there won't be any concept that any men or women to live together without this the so-called love. Okay. To be frank, further he explains that we want to add that a man or woman or a third party has absolutely no right to discuss or decide about another man or woman's affection, desire, love, sex, friendship, kindness, patience, infatuation, and so on. And to speak frankly, bravely, and with human nature, freedom, tendency, and experience, or similar, these all those emotions are similar. He gives an example that it's like a person going to a hotel and buying favorite snacks for them with their own taste and choices. It's like we don't have any choice to stop that person who is going and buying snacks in the shop, because it was their taste and their choice to buy anything and to have it for them. So it is similar to this concept to love. He says that uh, uh, um, others other people's interference is indicative of impertinence and unnecessary domineering behavior. So this is what we see in honor killing or love jihad kind of thing. How a state, how a community which interfere in uh, two uh, two major what to say that two major individuals to stop, or which they give unwritten laws to to do love or to stop love, like that things. And he describes the word's etymology from a Tamil language and Sanskrit language. Um, Behind the question whether the word kadal is from Tamil or Sanskrit word, here the kadal means love, which is from the language Tamil. Okay, in kadal, wait, in Sanskrit, the kadal means murder, killing, stabbing, or breaking. In Tamil, uh, it was uh, it was with the meaning that synonyms that affection, desire, longing, friendship, kindness, and affinity. In Chase Tamil also, it is only related to the union or coming together of men and women, affection, desire, friendship, and kindness. And he finds that there is no unique meaning he finds from Tamil language also. So here he gives a lot of definitions, a lot of examples to make us understand how the love arises, and for all those questions which is above in this slide, like what is love, how does it arise, what is its power, like that. So in the first example, like he says that he gives an example that a woman is wandering in a meadow, and a man sees that woman and falls in love. So And he asks that girl who is she, and she replies that she is a princess. Therefore he falls in love. then he asks then he asks that woman, that who is she, and uh, wait then when the woman asks that man who is he replies that he is a servant's son. Then uh, then automatically one person is falls in love with that another person, but another person not falls in love with that man. So here he says that one may fall in love, another may not. Then even we can interpret this like, if that servant son says that he is a princess and lives with that woman for 4 days without her knowledge, and if that woman comes to know that he is not a prince, and uh, he comes to know that he is a servant son, will the love remain constant? Will she love him uh, for this fraudulent also? That is what he asked the questions. Like, love arises just as the desire to own and possess an object arises in a man as soon as he sees or hears of or knows of it. We can't in any other way. So here he says, unlike the god of love, or with any other special element or magic, uh, there are chances like we can fall in love with another person with three chances. Like, if by chance if we see them, or if we hear about them, or if we know them. So these are the only three chances we can able to fall in love. uh, we can't uh, we can't think in another way. So this is what he says. Then, if we look at the mentality of the lovers, he explains that a source of satisfaction and personal desires only make them to choose another person to fall in love. And he gives another example, like a man falls in love with a prostitute, with uh, that he is thinking that she is healthy and she is a good person, like that. uh, but reality, she is a prostitute and she is not healthy. Will his love remain constant even after knowing the reality? So this is what he describes for this first sight love, and knowing them for few days, or being with them for few days. It's like love at the first sight, or which is superior, he is asking this. Then then he comes to another example, that if a person if a couple is there, and if one person is loving if one person is loving another person, both of them are couple, but one of them is loving some other person. If that person A loves that person B constantly, even after knowing that B is loving somebody else, so if he stops loves, is that against the true love, or is that the person is not in true love? So is it a wrongful love of someone stops loving when he begins to suspect or feel unsatisfied? So when they fall in love, lovers might share the same state mindset, like maturity and aim, but these might change in course of time. Under such a circumstance, should they adjust with each other, or for the sake of love and live eternally drowned in dissatisfaction and sorrow? Therefore, he says that love is weak and useless. Then he again comes to example, that if a couple is there, and one of them or both of them wants to become a saint, will it be against love? Does them to leave and dislike each other? Or if it against love, what is the use of such love? If it isn't against love, what about the scenario where one of them renounces worldly pressure and becomes as ascetic and leaves the other? Is that against love? Generally speaking, it is natural for human beings to look and think of a particular thing and desire it, but have liking and kindness towards many. Likewise, it is natural for human beings to become frustrated with anything to hate and apart from it. So this is what he explains that even as a couple, even after experiencing things or after learning many things, there are chances that the love may change. And he comes against to the a previous example which he described, that man is trickled to love the prostitute, and he gives all his wealth to that prostitute. And what we can how we can understand that person, he whether it is a love or lust, or a fraud took place because of his lackness of intelligence, a lack of intelligence. That's what he asked, whether it is a lack of intelligence or love or lust, he asked. Then if that prostitute, he comes to the prostitute, uh, to that person, and he explains that if that prostitutes permanently want to live with him, because she hates that profession, and she decides to wants to live with him, how we can able to define that prostitute's love, whether it's love or a means of a comfortable way of living? That is what he asked. Then he is at then again, that man is and never keeps increasing affection towards her, the prostitute. Will it become a mutual love? Therefore, love is nothing more special than desire, sexual passion, affection, infatuation, friendship, inexperience, and disappointment, he explains. Therefore, the so-called love, how he sees, or how he understands that, how we understand the so-called love. He gives a three example. It's like the pious people. Uh, if that pious people want to be considered as that, they do such and such things to pretend that they are pious people, like wearing sacred ashes in their body, and all the time murmuring Rama Rama, or the God's name. So this is what the pious people, they pretend to prove that they are pious people, and they do these things because we consider this is what the pious people do. And for the chaste women, how a woman uh, walk in the street, or how a woman should carry herself, like she has to walk looking at her toes. So that is how women pretend to show that she is a chaste woman, and walk in such and such way which is given by the society. And again, he gives the example like how a child pretend to act like it is sleeping. If elder people will test that child by telling them that if a child is sleeping, it will shake his legs. So meanwhile, the child will shake the legs to prove and pretend that that child is sleeping. So this is how even the true lovers will uh, will stick to the a construct which is given by the society to prove uh, to prove that they are true lovers to the uh, society. That is they are falling to that construct, and they do such and such a thing to prove to prove that they are true lovers. So therefore, who is defining this true lover concept? Therefore, they define this true lover concept and draw up. um, and also we too learn this concept, and we too very pretentiously act in such manner. That is what he critiques. And again, therefore, he says that nothing called love, which is different from desire, affection, and friendship. We can come to know about this from the previous examples we discussed. That these desire, affection, and friendship are nothing but the same, whether they are directed by human beings towards non living objects or living creatures, and that these feelings arise because of familiarity, behavior, character, temperament, need, and desire, and is subject to change. When there is change in these categories, characteristics like intelligence, character, temperament, need, and desire. Therefore, he states that I am not trying to say that love should not exist or that I haven't felt it, but he says that love is nothing than this and exists only for mental pleasure and satisfaction. And he also says that this is to uh, to say that he wanted to highlight that affection, desire, and friendship and nothing else exists only for mental pleasure and satisfaction, and not for displaying the existence of affection, desire, and friendship when there is no mental satisfaction and pleasure. So we had to write this because we wanted to expose the impertinent, irresponsible people who enters other people's satisfaction and happiness and keep saying that this is not love, this is love, and this is against love, that is sexual covering, this is prostitution, and so on. So the purpose of writing this essay um, and the purpose of he explaining about the concept uh, to explain that how the third party or how the state or how the community or how the unwritten law in our society which gives so and so definition for love and makes us believe this is a true love and gives moral code uh, to go with our individuality and with most often or predominantly which enslaves or which oppresses the women and also men vice versa, but often it was women who is oppressed and who is enslaved by the term love. So this is what the uh, this essay which gives in detail. Kilaya, I'm done.